Hey guys, welcome back to Breaking the Barrier. I'm your host, Rebel Sjeklocha, and today we are in for a real treat. I'm chatting with Ashley Baller, Gaming Senior Product Engagement Manager for Teton Ridge Gaming. Ashley, thanks for being here.
Absolutely. This is so exciting, mostly for the fact that I love whenever I get to engage with former rodeo queens. So, both of us being former state queens, we understand the passion for rodeo and sharing our love for it. So, this is a true treat. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. You have a very cool job that allows you to build on the skills that you developed as a rodeo queen and obviously continue your passion for the industry. But you put in a lot of sweat equity to get here. Can you give us a glimpse of your background and who Ashley is?
Totally, sweat equity. Ooh, I'm gonna have to put that in my personal dictionary. I like that. Well, I graduated from Colorado State University in 2018, and from there I found myself at the American Quarter Horse Association International Department. I was there for 3 years, and our goal was just creating unity for the love of the horse across the globe. So I was the manager of multilingual resources and communication, did some on-site service events in Italy, Germany, Mexico City, and specialized in Latin America because of my Spanish speaking experience. And unfortunately, yet fortunately, had to leave my job there to become Miss Rodeo Colorado 2022, where I traveled 40,000 miles promoting the sport of rodeo. And my main focus was bridging the gap between English and Spanish speakers within our industry. And that led me to the Miss Rodeo America pageant, where I placed top five. That was so much fun. But what I was really eager to do was get back into the workforce, get back into the business world, and put some of those rodeo connections into work. So then I found myself at Teton Ridge Gaming. I started there shortly after my time as Miss Rodeo Colorado, and it has been an absolute whirlwind ever since. It is a blast working here, and I'm excited to share more with you about it.
Absolutely. Well, we talked a little bit before we got started recording today about the different facets of Teton Ridge Gaming. It's certainly grown a lot in recent history. Give us a big picture overview of what those kind of three buckets are, and then we'll dive into those more in detail later on in our conversation.
Of course. So Teton Ridge Gaming is comprised of three different brands. We've got ProFantasy Rodeo, Inside Rodeo, and Rodeo Vegas. So Casey and Gail Jones started all three of these brands 21 years ago. We're on our 21st anniversary. Last year was our 20th. And they have just completely blown up. So Pro Fantasy Rodeo is like fantasy football, but it's for rodeo. So every single year for the national finals rodeo, we've been hosting a fantasy game. They give out trucks, have given out over $6 million in cash and prizes over the years. So it's so much fun, and we love making winners. We're actually gearing up for our Christmas in July fantasy game that will be this summer. And Inside Rodeo is an interactive fan suite. So it's really fun. It's really a way for the fan to engage with the fans in the stands and to educate fans about rodeo and our way of life. So we love to integrate it at rodeos that are well known with people who maybe rodeo themselves are involved in the Western industry, but it really works for the people who have never even stepped foot onto rodeo grounds before, and they can have some fun with it and get educated along the way. And Rodeo Vegas is one of my favorites, of course, because it's one of the after parties of the National Finals Rodeo, and actually one of the first to ever become of an after party experience like this. So that is 10 days in a row at Resorts World. We call it 10/24. So you are going 10 nights, 24 hours nonstop. It is a party, but it has been free entertainment. Some of the best entertainers in the industry, including Lady Wilson. They had her in
How have you seen players of Pro Fantasy Rodeo grow their rodeo knowledge through playing the game?
One of my favorite examples is actually from prep before the last NFR fantasy, because I'd actually hopped on a fantasy football podcast, and that was a blast because we got to educate them not only on rodeo but how to become more engaged with pro fantasy rodeo, and they were loving it. I mean, I don't think there's our teams did too great. But the fact is that you have some skin in the game. You know, you're playing a small entry fee, but then you really are cheering for your rodeo contestants. So if it's Stetson Wright, that was a scary experience during this NFR, and then Kai Hamilton really threw us for a loop. But if Kai Hamilton was on your team, man, you were a happy person because he totally cashed in. So it's a way for you to really engage with the contestants and feel like they're kind of one of your friends. You start to follow them on social media and you're like, please, please get a 90-point ride. Please get first, because all I need is you to cash in for me to cash in on potentially a truck. So that was a blast with those fantasy football dudes because they were like, what is this world? I want some more of it. Let's do it. Game on.
Very cool. So pretend I know nothing about Pro Fantasy Rodeo, but I want to play. How do I do it? How do I sign up?
Okay, I would love to teach you. So, we actually have a Christmas in July fantasy game coming up. Entries will open in June, and it's so easy. I'll tell you what, it's funny that I ended up in gaming because I am not much of a gaming person. I mean, shoot, I even struggle with Uno, but Pro Fantasy Rodeo is my jam, and not only because I work there. So, it's simple. You pick one cowboy or cowgirl in each event. So, if we've got the traditional 8 events and you're picking your barrel racer, your breakaway roper, and then all the cowboys after that. And then you might have a couple tiebreakers in there, but they're easy. You're just going to estimate what you think the total is that they could win by the end of it, and you're entered. In addition to that, we also have some prize challenges that are fun. One of my favorites that we offered last year was for the American Rodeo. So some of our winners got to recently enjoy their time there at Globe Life Field, but it's easy. Like I said, you pick one rider in each event. That's your team. You're settled. You're done. You're entered. That's it.
Awesome. Well, Pro Fantasy Rodeo has been around for a while and is an exciting opportunity for fans to get involved. But Inside Rodeo is also another bucket per se of Teton Ridge Gaming. Talk about Inside Rodeo and what that entails.
Inside Rodeo is so special to me because I'll kind of date it back to whenever I was Miss Rodeo Colorado on the stage at Miss Rodeo America. My top 5 question was related to, how do you want to expand your reach beyond this title? And Inside Rodeo does exactly that for me because it engages fans who typically wouldn't be involved with the sport or have any idea about it. And so we've been offering a few different games this year. It's a whole suite of games at InsideRodeo.com. You can check them out. We offer big screen selfie and a whole bunch of other type of arena activations, but my favorite is rodeo picks. And it's similar to fantasy where you're picking some contestants who are your favorite or who you think are going to win. But at the Canadian finals recently, well, gosh, I guess it's November, not so recent, we hosted it. And all you have to do is pick one player in each event. It's free to play, and you're entered. Whoever you think, or one rider in each event, whoever you think is going to win that night, that's the people who you think are going to pick. We usually have a pretty good cash prize for a free game. So if you pick all event winners, some of our prizes before have been $10,000, $20,000. We've yet to have somebody actually pick it to win, but I'm really hopeful. I think this year that someone will be the one to do it. But also rodeo guests. People can play along during the performance, choose the score, or they can guess the score, the time, and whoever is closest to the actual outcome will win prizes.
Very cool. So if I'm at a large rodeo where these games are being offered, do I have to download an app? Can I grab a code off the Jumbotron? How does that work?
Great question, and a little bit of both. So, if you are at the event, they will definitely be making announcements. You'll hear the announcer chatting it up. You will be able to scan a QR code, but you can also find it at insiderodeo.com or rodeopicks.com or even rodeoguest.com. And the reason why we incorporate a web browser versus an app is just because it's a little easier for our fans to get in and play the game right away. They don't have to worry about loading times or signing in. It's just fun and easy. So you can keep up with all of the games that we have offered at the Pro Fantasy Rodeo Instagram and Facebook pages. It's easy. The handle is simply Pro Fantasy Rodeo. And same with the Pro Fantasy Rodeo games. We'll be hosting them, also on profantasyrodeo.com. And you can sign up to get entered for when entries, notified when entries open. And also, you'll receive some of our exclusive news and updates, which include winter stories. Those are my favorites to read and also write because it's cool the unique instances where you hear about people winning. I mean, recently it seems like the last minute submissions is what's been making the money. So that is definitely unique. But profantasyrodeo.com will get you everything you need, and same with those social media outlets.
Awesome. Well, Pro Fantasy Rodeo, as we visited about earlier, helps people learn more, of course, about the sport and become more invested. But what I think is interesting about Inside Rodeo is it is really reaching fans who are in the stadium at these larger rodeos. So they truly may not have had any point of contact whatsoever with a rodeo or any of the knowledge that is now in the palm of their hand. Do you have any stories about that in particular?
Oh, yes, I do. So we offered it at San Antonio Rodeo in 2023. And it was right after I'd started. And I was contacting some of the winners and some of the people who were playing just to ask them about their experience and survey the outcome of the game. And there was a whole entire family who had never been to a rodeo before, but they ended up going to the performance a few nights in a row and playing every single night because they were having so much fun competing against one another. And it's the stories like that that really warm my heart because sometimes it can be intimidating environment to go into, but when you feel like it's when you can turn it into a game, when you can gamify it, make it a fun experience, it's just hard to not want to go back. So that's one of my favorite stories, is where we had a whole family who were playing the game, having a blast, and ended up going to more performances because of it.
That's one of our primary jobs as rodeo queens was to engage with fans and get them coming back, performance after performance, buying tickets, bolstering those ticket sales. And that sounds exactly like what you're doing with Inside Rodeo. So that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. You nail these recaps every time, Rebel. Oh my goodness. I'm like, I need you to write some of my promo stuff.
Goodness gracious. Well, another very cool aspect of your job is getting to be a part of Rodeo Vegas. You mentioned earlier that this is a time honored tradition, if you will, in Las Vegas during the finals. What does your role look like in preparing for that? And what are some highlights?
Ooh, it is an absolute madhouse. I'll tell you that much. Getting ready for a fantasy game and Rodeo Vegas blew my mind last year in the best ways possible. But we kind of kicked things off with getting the plan started with Rodeo or Resorts World. They've got Rodeo World, so it's an expansive environment. It provides all sorts of rodeo entertainment, but we, of course, are very biased towards Rodeo Vegas. So we get the location locked in, but then also, as far as determining the artist, that is so exciting because it really, we listen to country music. We love celebrating the artists who are really killing the game these days. And so it's fun to be able to think about, wow, who would I like to see in concert and how can we bring that to life? And so as we are preparing for the event, we're doing a lot of promotion, trying to invite our fans. We've got a really cool Rodeo Vegas fan base, mostly because they like to party. They like to have a good time. They like to celebrate the sport. So the excitement is just consistently building up before the event. And once we're there on property, oh my gosh, it is just game on, green lights. I mean, we're just trying to figure out, okay, what's the best lighting? Where's the DJ booth going to be? Do we need a DJ? I mean, just the different elements to really elevating the experience. And that's the goal for Rodeo Vegas. It's been around for 20 years, but we want to maintain that elite status within the industry and keep people coming back. And so one of the key aspects is making sure that we have NFR qualifiers attend every night. So we do this by, at the very beginning of the NFR, we give them all a Rodeo Vegas jacket, and these jackets are iconic. I mean, it's crazy. I've seen them in rapper music videos. They've been on the most interesting places, on the most interesting people, but that's what we love about it because, again, the point is to promote rodeo and the sport to people who may never experienced it before. All that to say, every contestant, they'll wear their jackets each night, and every night they come, they're entered into a drawing. So last year we gave away a trailer. It was Merhow's very first trailer that they had produced, and Stan Branco had won that. We know that he had just a fire NFR last year in the steer wrestling, and every night we're giving away a swag bag. So we love it because it's a way for the the crowd to be able to be, up close and personal with those NFR qualifiers. So that's a unique experience. Is not only is it free entertainment, it's at a beautiful venue. Resorts World is gorgeous, but also you might just get to shake hands with an NFR qualifier.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like all of these things are truly providing an experience in their own unique ways. What has been the biggest learning curve or something that you've learned since starting your job, dipping your toe in all these different arenas?
Well, I work for an entrepreneur. Gail and Casey Jones are both entrepreneurs, and I was obsessed with entrepreneurs in college. I remember my senior capstone class just being absolutely amazed by people who had a dream and embarked on it and made it happen. But you always hear about the hard work going into it, which I'll get into that in a second. But it's rare that you're able to experience a true success story from entrepreneurial endeavors, and I get to live that out with my boss and his wife, which is something that's really beautiful and unique to me. But that also comes with learning how to hustle and grind and put the work in. Oh my goodness, I couldn't believe the transformation that I experienced as a person compared to last year to now, because of how hard I really had to push myself to stay focused and to seriously grind and hustle. Because we at Teton Ridge is a startup in a way, and so our goal is to magnify the sport and scale these brands so that they're year-round experiences rather than once a year. And that makes you have to kind of stay on your toes and stay active and stay energized, because you're always trying to strike that next opportunity. So it's really pushed me to step outside my comfort zone in a lot of different realms, especially because of the fact that this is a male dominated industry. So rodeo, on top of gaming, both male dominated industries, has really pushed me to become a more bold and confident person within myself, on top of working, working, working. But that's where the magic happens, and that's what's fun for me is when you're able to kind of push yourself past that threshold and increase your capacity because of it.
Absolutely. Kind of along that vein, what advice would you give to other young professionals who are looking to kickstart their career or find new opportunities?
I love this question because this was something that really racked my brain when I was coming out of school at Colorado State University. And every experience that we have and every season in life is preparing us for the next one. And so when I graduated from CSU, I ended up getting on the phone and calling and interviewing a lot of different industry professionals just to ask them about how they got to where they were, what they recommended for people my age. And that's how I landed my first job at AQHA in a way, because one of the individuals that I had interviewed actually ended up becoming my future boss. So that was a seed well planted. But as far as, my journey to Teton Ridge, or yes, journey to Teton Ridge, I made a really strong connection with Boyd Paul Hamus, who is just a phenomenal rodeo announcer. And after working with him, I'm like, gosh, I admire him. I love his passion for the sport. And so I interviewed him just right before the Miss Rodeo America pageant. He said, "Well, give me a call if things don't go as planned, and we'll see what we can do. I might have a friend who has an opportunity," which led me to Casey Jones. So my advice is to get your foot in the door by making the calls, make yourself uncomfortable, schedule opportunities to chat with the people who are in the positions that you want to be in, and force yourself to talk to the people who might intimidate you and scare you. Boyd was a little bit scary to me before I really got to meet him, but I'm so grateful for it because it led me to this position. So I really urge young women and young men to put themselves out there and use their voice, ask the questions, and if you're not scared, then your dream isn't big enough. So you should definitely be operating in the discomfort zone.
Mic drop right there, ladies and gentlemen. That was awesome. Um, Not to switch gears too much, but Teton Ridge is becoming more and more of a household brand name. Can you speak more about Teton Ridge's mission for Western sports?
Absolutely. So Teton Ridge makes my heart so warm because to me, they're doing what the industry needs. They're pumping new ideas, inspiration, unique brands, and giving life back into our world. It's no secret that the agricultural and Western industries are decreasing in participation each year, not only because of the decrease in the land, urban land itself and the increase in urban sprawl, but because of so many different other factors. So, what I love about Teton Ridge is that it's fresh, it's young, it's youthful, and our goal is simply to combine what the best in the West has to offer to provide unique media and entertainment experiences for people. So you may have seen that come to life with our Mooney cast that we played before each of the American Rodeo regional tournaments. And within Teton Ridge, we have a variety of different brands. So we've got the American Rodeo, Cowboys and Indians, Higher Boots, Better Barrel Races. But what's really cool is that we all get to work together to figure out how we can unify and lean on each other to grow the industry and to grow the brands, because Teton Ridge is strictly passionate about, like I said, it just being a lifeline to this industry. So that's what's cool about it for me. And for Teton Ridge, people are kind of, even I was confused about it before I started. And so our goal is to just really make people comfortable with the brand and understand that it is here to make it better, the industry better, and more inviting and more exciting for all of us. So Teton Ridge is new, but I love it.
Absolutely. Well, what I love the most about this conversation is it's evident that the deeply seated passions that you've had for many years are getting to be put to use in your current role. With no shortage of hard work, of course, but it's really cool to watch that hard work pay off from the sidelines. So, congratulations on all of your success.
Thank you so much. Likewise, my friend.
Goodness. Well, as we round out our conversation today, one thing I always like to ask people, because it's, you've shared so many wonderful nuggets of wisdom and information so far, but what is the best piece of advice you have received that you would like to pass on to other people?
I had to think about that one for a second, but actually, it's from Gail Jones. This is a piece of advice that I run through my brain daily, especially under big pressure situations. And she said, "The bigger the moment, the better I am." And I think that personal affirmations, not I think, I believe that personal affirmations are incredibly life changing, and it's really key to threading your mindset in the right way. So, if you wake up and you tell yourself like, "Oh, I'm going to have a bad day." Great. This is what's going to happen. You're preparing for a bad day because your brain's going to prove to you why it's going to be a bad day. But, if you're going into something and you're like, "I am ready, I am brave, I'm courageous," the bigger the moment, the better I am. You're ready to turn it on and to be able to just, magnetize the room and be the biggest, most bold version of yourself, because there's really no use in not being fearless, and the key to life is being courageous, getting your foot in the door, and trusting yourself in those high pressure moments.
The bigger the moment, the better I am. I think I need to put that on my desk or hang it somewhere in my house because that's gold.
It resonates.
It definitely resonates. So, looking ahead, you have a very exciting future ahead of you. Obviously, what are some goals you have for yourself in the next year or near future, either personally or professionally?
So I'll kick things off professionally. I am excited to continue to work hand in hand with Casey Jones and to see how we can continue to grow fantasy. Of course, we're always trying to, grow our player base, but I'm really curious to see what ways we can continue to learn our market and cater to our market. So there's so many different ways you can do this, and I'm an equine science major. Graduate, however way, I have an equine science degree, and so in some of those ways I'm not as educated on the best marketing practices because of that, because I was learning about equine genetics and reproduction. So for me, I want to learn more about our market and more of the unique ways that we can engage them, whether that be through traditional or social and digital media. And personally, I have to admit, I am a pageant fiend. I can't get enough of it. Like I said, I love transformational experiences. So I will be competing for Miss Colorado USA again this year. purely for the fact that I'm ready to just level up and become the strongest, most pure version of myself while promoting our Western industry. I am really passionate about the Golden Circle of Champions, which raises pediatric cancer awareness. So I'm hoping to be able to broaden the scope and the reach and use my voice to spread the word on that, hopefully as Miss Colorado USA. So we'll see. I'm throwing my hat in nonetheless.
Awesome. Well, I definitely look forward to following along with that adventure. Ashley, thank you so much for sharing so much valuable information and good perspective with us today. Is there anything that we haven't touched on that you'd like to share?
Well, thank you so much. This has been a highlight of my week, maybe even my month or my year. This is so much fun. But things I would like to share is just for, of course, everybody check out Pro Fantasy Rodeo on Instagram and Facebook. Same with Rodeo Vegas on Instagram and Facebook. Check out Teton Ridge. Come see us at different rodeos and events. We'd love to see you. And anybody is welcome to reach out to me for any pageant professional career advice. I always say that I'm just so passionate about being a mentor and being able to give back to what people have given me. So people can find me, Ashley Baller, on any social media outlets as well. But I just encourage everybody to decide on a passion and pursue it, and don't give up. Don't take no for an answer.
Awesome. Well, once again, that is Ashley Baller, Gaming Senior Product Engagement Manager for Teton Ridge Gaming, former Miss Rodeo Colorado, and all around powerhouse lady. So thank you for being here. As a reminder, all episodes of Breaking the Barrier are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and our recent recordings are now available to watch on YouTube. So make sure you check that out. That'll do it for this week's episode. We'll catch you next time.